Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, global population. It's going to be a really quick on this. To all those still asleep, this should wake you the fuck up. To all those still awake, this ain't going to surprise you at all. What you're just seeing there is basically, as of tomorrow, the government is going to combine the coronavirus numbers with the annual flu numbers. Why, I hear you ask? Well, there's only one reason really. So they can hide the coronavirus in with the flu. We're not going to have any accurate figures. They can basically make it up as they go along now and blame the entire flu narrative, the entire flu numbers on COVID. They can get the numbers that they want and continue to deceive us, the British public. This is going to be used to justify everything that they're going to have in place soon. To say we couldn't see this coming, it just goes without saying these days, you know what I mean? It's just getting that full on ridiculous. It really is. And why else are they doing it? Because the COVID numbers are so fucking low. They're minuscule. They're not getting the results that they need to justify anything what they're doing. And now they've got the WHO turning around and saying that we need governments to stop doing lockdowns. There's no justification for them. They're not working. But do you think Boris and that are going to concede defeat? I can't see it. I really can't. Every angle now is coming from every angle. They're fucked and they know it. So they're trying everything in a desperate move to keep power and to keep this narrative going for as long as they can, till they can fucking jab us all. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's also come out as well about Florida. Oh dear. That ruins the mask narrative as well, because there's no mask, no spikes. No spiking COVID. No nothing. Yeah, Silence from the mainstream media. Same with this, silence from the mainstream media. Yeah, you go to Public Health England, it's there, full blown. We're combining the two numbers together. Don't give you an explanation why. Just says we know there's been a rise in cases, there's been a rise in deaths. Where?
We had Professor Sunetra Gupta from Oxford University on, and she was implying, and I'm interested in you because you have a global mandate, a global view, was that a problem we don't think about in lockdowns is that they're very nationalistic. That if we lock down our economy, then it hits our economy. But it also means we are not buying stuff, we're not trading with weaker economies, we are not just destroying our own jobs, we're destroying the jobs of all those that in the poorer parts of the world that export to us. That seemed to me to be a reasonable point.
Really important point by Professor Gupta. I want to say it again. We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of this virus. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather not do it. Just look at what's happened to the tourism industry, for example, in the Caribbean or in the Pacific, because people aren't taking their holidays. Look what's happened to smallholder farmers all over the world because their markets have got dented. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may well have a doubling of world poverty by next year. We may well have at least a doubling of child malnutrition because children are not getting meals at school and their parents in poor families are not able to afford it. This is a terrible, ghastly global catastrophe, actually. And so we really do appeal to all world leaders. Stop using lockdown as your primary control method. Develop better systems for doing it. Work together and learn from each other. But remember, lockdowns just have one consequence that you must never, ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer.
Indeed, and a rise in world poverty after years and years in which world poverty was falling and falling. And we've reversed almost a decade of progress going back in 9 months.
So where's this rise in cases? Where's this rise in deaths? They're not coming, are they, lads? It's all falling apart. And yet you have idiots, these brainless fucking idiots, walking around believing everything that the fucking mainstream says. Even when confronted with facts, the cognitive dissonance is that fucking bad. There's talk from Australia now as well. Australia, no jab, no pay. So if you're not vaccinated, you can't have any money, can't have a job, can't do nothing. That's compulsory vaccination.
I suspect the majority of Australians will get vaccinated, and then there will be a strong public view that those who choose not to get vaccinated need to. There needs to be some sort of incentive stick, perhaps, through the current programs, including no jab, no pay, to make that happen. So I think that is a very reasonable interpretation of what the PM had to say today. Again, looking at specific things like not being able to go into restaurants, not being able to travel.
That goes against everyone's human rights. That should be all over the mainstream media, and it's not even fucking covered. All you people that still believe in this are mentally ill. You really are. Really, really are. All of you supporting this are mentally fucking ill. I know some of you may have lost people, but think fucking clearly. It's just... I mean, you people call us a danger to the public. And when I talk to you people, and I offer you evidence, I show you evidence, I show you doctors, scientists, virologists, all of them eminent from world-class universities. And you won't fucking have it. There's something wrong with your brains. You need a good slap, probably. Just to wake you the fuck up. Like Benjamin Franklin said, I think it was. A person who gives up a tiny bit of liberty for a tiny bit of safety deserves and will receive neither. Now, paraphrasing there, but that's basically what he said. And he's right. You give up your freedom for safety. What the government is saying is safety. And it's not really, is it? Because they don't give them you back. Even when they think it's all safe anyway. This ain't going away. If you notice, it keeps on going and going and going and going. You get Bill Gates turning around and saying it's going to last years. What the fuck are you on about, you stupid specky four-eyed prick? Listen, Kermit the Frog. Eh? You fucking knob. Get a grip. Fuck off and leave us all alone. If this gets any worse, and it's going to, because like I said, the camps are next, and they will be, I can't see this ending very, very well for the people that are doing this. People say, where's the British Bulldog spirit? Still fucking here. It's just someone gave us a sleeping pill a while ago, and it's taken us a while to come round. Mark my words. The thing is, I know that's what they want. It's what they're trying to push us to. So they can get the army in martial law, fuck us all over completely then. I've heard people say, oh, the army won't do anything. They'll come round, they'll come round. No, they won't. No, they won't. They're already working with the police. They're on the streets in Birmingham. They're as brainwashed as everyone else. And it's a sad state of affairs. But this is why they're doing this. This is why they're combining the COVID and flu numbers, so they can hide it. They can justify it with whatever numbers you want. Oh, flu wasn't too bad this time. It was the COVID. It really was bad, the COVID this time. Bull fucking shit. There's a paper that the Rand... This is one thing that really actually terrifies me. The Rand Corporation released a paper, which I'll show you in a minute. I've highlighted the bits that are most important. It's about bioterrorism and the likelihood of an attack, a bioterrorist attack. And Gates keeps going on about the same thing. Or it has been past few interviews. this and you see that, should I say, it kind of makes you think. They knew that people like us would know instantly that this was all bullshit. And I think to turn us all around, you might well try releasing a real one. Like I've always said, stuff like this is multifaceted all the time. It seems like we're always just one step behind. Occasionally we get a step ahead and see it coming, but we don't get the word out. I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments anyway. Alright? Okay. Like, subscribe, share, you know the job. See you later.
You get different opinions and different views. And I think the biggest problem is, for example, right now we are in a better position than we were in March. We now have new antivirals coming in, which I think are much more important in a way than this idea that we're going to get a vaccine, because antivirals suppress the condition, give you a much greater chance in those risk groups of surviving. So I think what has been proposed by Professor Gupta and Hennigan and others at Oxford, now in the Edinburgh survey, and by 8,000 scientists globally, that they say, look, the thing about this virus is we know who it targets. It targets people with comorbidities. Fewer than 4% of all of those who've lost their lives, fewer, have died with no known comorbidities globally. So we know that this peculiar virus doesn't actually attack the young, doesn't attack these people who are reasonably fit and healthy, including people in their 70s and 80s. And we know the average global death rate is around 80. So now we know then
the age of death
is around 80. So we know who to protect. So the key question is, should we not put our resources into making sure that those who are at risk have the greatest protection, the greatest support? And for the rest of us, a combination of social distancing, hand washing, and importantly, bringing in those antivirals so that those who have any symptoms at all can take antivirals as a precautionary feature, which would allow us to keep things like pubs, restaurants, and hospitality open. More than that, actually to start thinking about opening up football grounds even to a slightly lesser audience, as they do in Germany.
Yeah.
So I think that's the balance of risk. After all, if you're under 40, it is more likely you will die on a bicycle than you will from coronavirus. So we need to get the balance of risks right. We live by a balance of risks, not one risk alone.
Absolutely. I mean, just finally, looking at the risks to the government of a rebellion next week, a vote on the 10 p.m. curfew. It was supposed to be this week, but it's got moved to next week.